It is, you guys. It is your girl, Cadillac. Yes, I am Cadillac Dixon. I am the drama like prison wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all face to black. Yes, it's your girl, Cadillac. Girl, it is 10:20 p.m. This is my second time up here to this Walmart. I was not even planning on coming back. I had done got that out the way. I took my little walk, took my little sunset pictures. Y'all could check those out on my community page. Girl, I'm in there organizing my room because I got all these art supplies that I want to start working on. I don't want to just keep collecting. I want to actually start bringing some artwork. So as I'm doing that, you know, my Thursdays, I don't have to go in the morning. I close on that Friday. So I have all this time in between the time I get off of work that Thursday evening to the time I go in on Friday. So I can stay up. I'm free to stay up as late as I want to. Not really, because me and Money got to handle some business in the morning. But I was up there organizing and listening to one of my favorite YouTubers, Rajiva the Ruler. And I was watching this video, and this video touched me that much that I got immediately into my car, drove to this Walmart, and said I need to review this video. So here we go. And I'm gonna chime in every little now and then. Like, you know, I'm gonna leave her link to her video in my description box. Also, check out my project Reach the World that I did of Miss Rajiva the Ruler. Yes, and also check out my video, What is Project Reach the World? If you don't know what it is, it's my art for justice. And just check all that out. And I'm going to jump right into reviewing this video. Now, before I get started, I want to dedicate this to any and everybody that has an incarcerated loved one, family member, or whatever, who thinks that they are holding them down, but yet they are not doing certain things. This is how your loved one really feels about your absence when they need you the most.
I thought it was gonna be cool. Like, I knew, you know what I'm saying, I was gonna go through some things because it's prison. As people in my comments say, it's not a country club. So I knew I knew I was gonna go through some stuff. But I thought I was gonna
I'm sorry, this ain't got nothing to do with that. When she said it's not a country club, that reminded me of my my hair school teacher, Miss Francis. She used to say, "This is not a country club." She would tell us, "Get to work, get to work, get to work. This is not a country club." Like, that had nothing to do with that, but that's what that brought back to mind. Okay.
When I was in the county jail, now mind you, I did end up going to the box, which is solitary confinement. So you can go to jail in jail. In jail, you got this cell, you can roam around, interact with people, watch TV, you can get on the phone and all kind of stuff like that. You can take a shower every day. Solitary confinement, you're not taking a shower every day. You take a shower like every other day. And you take a minimum 3 times a week. And it's 3 times a week. So in solitary confinement, you're in one cell by yourself. So I was in GP, which is general population, for like 11 days in the county jail. And then I ended up going to confinement, and I got DR after DR after DR, which is a disciplinary report. It's like a referral in school. So I got DR after DR, ended up in confinement, and I was in confinement up until a little bit after I lost my trial. When I lost trial, I was in confinement. So going through that, I was going through that by myself because I was in a cell by myself. So going to trial, preparing for trial, picking my jury, I was in confinement. And when you're in confinement, you get a phone call every so often.
Which, that's a very emotional roller coaster when you are preparing for trial. So I can imagine it being times worse, preparing for trial within the prison, or well, within the county jail. Marcello did get to prepare for trial because of the bond at home, but it was stressful. He was on pins and needles. He was not the same Marcello. He was already gone.
It's like once a week, they'll let you out. Call. Now for me, they're supposed to let you get out the shower, and also use the phone while you're out for shower. But because I was raising so much hell, they wasn't letting me use the phone. Looking back, who could blame them? But anyways, so you get out for a shower every other day, and then you get out to use the phone. So if somebody has minutes on the phone, then they'll answer for you. If they don't, then you don't get to talk on the phone. So I was down there fighting all of that. So I eventually ended up getting out of confinement after I had lost trial and right before I got sentenced. So when I got out of confinement, my visitations was booked. I'm talking about every time I had visit, it was somebody on that screen for me for visit. So
this is the
I got letters, I got pictures.
Jail. When she was in jail, they was there for her.
So when I got out of confinement, my visitations was booked. I'm talking about every time I had visit, it was somebody on that screen for me for visit. So, I got letters, I got pictures, I got mail. So I'm like, it made me feel good because like I could
letters
talk to my
are like
friends.
gold.
I knew what was going on the outside.
Emails now because no letters.
It was like, even though I was gone, I was still kind of there, like, keep hope alive. And I was straight, like to the point where I would have people writing me like, block off your visitation for this day because I can't get in. It's always booked when I call. I get up at 7 and call and your visits is already booked. So I'm like, what I'm saying? I felt kind of good going to prison because it's like I got all this support. You know what I'm saying? All these people here for me. So it's like, it ain't going to be too bad. Like I'll have somebody that if times get rough, I'll have somebody to lean on, right? So
that part.
Was booked. I'm talking about every time a visit popped up, was somebody on that screen, and they was like, it was taking me forever to be able to get up here, and your visit's always booked. So I'm like, all right. So I get to prison. Didn't nobody keep that same energy. Nobody kept that same energy. So I thought it was gonna be straight. I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be a rough time, but I got people behind me. Like I got support. I got people that I can call. I can write. That's gonna come see me. They did not keep that same energy. I'm talking about
and I kind of feel that same way. Like I feel it for Marcello. Like Marcello, he used to go through it because he couldn't understand why. Okay, I'm there for him, and I've always been there for him. But he also wanted his family to be there for him. He wanted his family to reach out to see how he doing, to drop him letters, to stuff like that. So though I'm, his wife and there for him for whatever I can provide, I can't fill those spots. The spots of your loved ones that you grew up with that's supposed to be there for you no matter what. Like I can't fill that void. And I would have to watch him hurt because he wanted so much for them to just care. Like he can't understand how is your life. Put yourself in that shoe. If something happened, like I do that, like if something happened to me and literally nobody cared, that, that would make you feel low. That would make you feel unloved. Like, what the heck? They don't even care if I'm okay, if I'm alive. How crazy DOC is. Like, how they even know I'm good? And they not even trying to figure out if I'm good. Like, for real.
You would think that when you get to prison, they would at least keep in contact to be curious. Like, what's going on? Like, how is it? Like, what you going through? Like, you would think at first they would at least continue to be curious.
And to be honest, the longer you're in prison, the most people leave you almost as soon as, like she said, as soon as she went from the jailhouse. I was about to say 33rd, but 33rd is here in Orlando. But ever since she went from the jailhouse to the prison, they quickly like lost contact. But that's how it usually is. People lose contact with you like that. And then a few might hang on, but then they go on after so long. Not too many. I'ma pat my own self. I'm a ride or die. I definitely 21 years, girl, and I ain't left. I ain't skipped no beats. It ain't that, hey, I left him and came back 10 years later or 5 years later. I have literally been here with him from that day in April in 2002 when they took him away to this day in February, where he's still wrongfully incarcerated. But you would think some of his loved ones would be there as well, right beside me fighting for him.
Stop. And in prison, how, like, what you going through? Like, you would think at
She
first they would at
said the
least
mail
continue to
stopped.
be curious. The mail stopped.
You heard that?
And in prison, how it is, when I first got to prison, they've changed it now. In order for you to get on the phone, what someone has to do is they have to physically print out their phone bill, right? Whether it's a home phone, cell phone, whatever it is, they have to print out the phone bill.
Them
and
days.
they have to send it in to you, and then you
OG
have to
prison
send it
wife,
in,
boy.
and you have to write down their name, their address. Address has to match the address that's on the phone bill. And then you have to send it in for approval. You have to put your relationship to them and all of that. And you have to send it in for that number to be approved. You can only update your phone list twice a year. So
I used to go through
you're waiting
heck
on somebody
with
to send
that.
your phone bill and they don't send it in time, you have to wait 6 months before you can update it. So nobody sent in their phone bill. Not one person.
Wow.
Sent in their phone bill when I first got to prison. Not one person. Now, mind you, when you first get to prison, you're considered RNO status. So even though you have 2 times a year that you can update your phone list, you get to do it when you come to prison. That doesn't count. You get to do it when you first come. Nobody sent it. So I'm like, okay.
And it's some easy.
Stuff, so
like these be easy
when
things.
I first got to prison, it was this lady I told y'all about.
This be let me smoke easy things that they asking for. They not asking you for a pot of gold. They asking you, well, most times they're asking you for something simple that you can do that only takes a few moments out of your time. And it shows that you actually truly care about them and you're worried about their well-being. Like, that's all they want to know, is that they are still loved.
Cigarette that almost took me out, almost killed me. But the lady who gave me the cigarette, she had gave me some stamps and envelopes as well. So I got my mail, so my mail from the county, so I'm writing down, like, writing people off the addresses that I got. So I'm like reaching out, I'm talking about, I'm sending out so many letters. I'm sitting on my bunk, and like, I don't know what else to do, because I'm new to prison, and it's like I don't really have no friends. I don't know how this goes. I'm still kind of nervous. I'm still kind of shocked. Like, I want to cry, but I'm not gonna cry because it is what it is. So I'm like, I spent my time sitting on my bed, like, writing.
So many times I knew Marcello, I know he cries on the inside. I know he do.
And my friends, writing my family, writing people I cared about, writing people that cared about me. So I would sit there for, like, I'm talking about all day, and then, like, I get tired, then I write some more letters the next day. And I sat there for, like, my first week, I was just writing letters to everybody who was, like, blowing me up when I was in prison. And I would write, and it was plenty of times, like, while I was writing, I would cry, you know what I'm saying? And I sent out these letters.
That's that, like, out of sight, out of mind mentality.
For mail to come. I can't wait for mail to come. I'm sending out so many letters, so I'm like calculating. I'm like, okay, it take like 3 days for them to get it, and then it take like 3 days, for it to come back, and all this. So I'm like, okay, at least like a week. I was like, I'm gonna give it a week. So the next week come, and I'm like
making excuses for your loved ones.
They do mail calls, so after they get the mail in the mail room, they go through it. Yes, they bust open every single letter. They read some of them. They're not supposed to read them. They're supposed to skim, you know what I'm saying, and like look for certain words and stuff. But some of them officers, especially if they know you or they don't like you, or like, they'll be all up in your business.
That's
reading your
crazy.
Letters. Like, I done had plenty of times somebody done came back and said something about that, something that was in one of my letters.
That's really violation of your privacy. Like, literally, there's no, like, that video I did of the things I had to give up to be a prison wife. There's literally no privacy. You want to talk certain ways with your husband, that ain't happening. I mean, you can, but just know that these guards are reading that, and they can, that's why a lot of times Marcello don't even want to say certain things. And it's sad that you cannot. It's literally your whole, I don't know. But that's not the point of this video, though.
a mail, and you can see it. Like, you can, no matter what you're doing in the dorm, if you on the phone, if you sit on your bed reading, when the door buzzes, you hear it. So most times you look up. But everybody get happy when they see that mail bucket, because like, yeah, mail here. So you just sitting around waiting on them to get ready to do mail. They normally do mail call when the dorm is settled down, like when because you have different jobs that you work in prison. So after just
I only
about
got 4
everybody is in the
minutes,
dorm,
so I'm gonna
you
have
know what I'm
to.
saying, they'll go ahead and do mail calls. So they normally do it in the evening. So
I'm gonna have to speed it up a little bit.
what happens, it's like y'all don't understand. It's like, no matter what you doing, you stop, like, you listening. Like, I'm talking about, if somebody over here talking in the corner, you like, hey man, you know what I'm saying, shut up, mail call. And you literally sit there and wait for them to call your name. And it's like, you see the stack,
like
and then they call it, and it's like every time they pick up a letter, it's like you have like a knot in your stomach, like a knot in your throat every time they pick up one. And when they say one, it's like your stomach drops. And then when they pick up that next envelope, your hopes get up again, and then it drops, and then it's the same thing. And it's like you start getting sicker and sicker. Your anxiety gets higher and higher as the stack starts to dwindle down. And then once they're done, like, you literally have to wait for mail call the next day. If they didn't call your name, you have no mail. You have to at least wait another 24 hours and hope that it comes. Every time they did mail call, I had the same. We ain't doing this. Every time they did mail call for the first month when I was locked up. All right, so for the first month when I was locked up, every time they did mail call, it was the same thing over and over.
Can you imagine sitting there anticipating that one of your loved ones?
I am not crying on camera, but I used to make so many excuses. I used to be like, "Ooh, this is harder than I thought." Wait a minute. All right, so I used to make excuses after excuses.
Yeah, making excuses for your loved ones because you can't believe that they literally are leaving you hanging, you know. But that's part of it.
I used to make excuses after excuses, like, oh, well, maybe, you know what I'm saying, mail got caught up, or like, oh, maybe they delayed my mail, and, you know what I'm saying, in the mail room, maybe they got too many letters and they couldn't read it all. And we are not doing this, okay? But it was so hard for me to fathom, like, it was so, I can't put it into words. It was so hard for me to fathom that my life was in shambles. Like, my world was completely flipped upside down. Like I said, I was not crying on camera, but oh goodness. But it was so hard to believe that I was going through hell. Like, my spirit, my soul, and everything was just in shambles. And it was so hard to believe that nobody sat down and took the time to write a letter, to send a picture, you know what I'm saying, to be like, hey, are you okay? Like, are you safe? Like, I was not.
See, it's the simple
on
things
anyone's mind.
Thank you.
And that hurt. Like,
it's the simple things that the incarcerated person is looking for. You ain't got to do this grandiose, gesture. They just want to know that you actually care. They don't want the excuses. They don't want like, either you care or you don't. And anybody that care will be there. Like, for real. And I wasn't even trying to rhyme right there. But I'm running out of time, and Walmart about to close. I got to upload my video, girl. And security just keep riding by. Like, girl, what you think I'm doing? I'm just making a YouTube video. But I want to read this one comment that she has here. Someone replies, dang, I never thought about it like that. Let me write my dad and send him my graduation photos. I graduated from college and never sent the photos. Thank you for being so vulnerable with us in this video. Yes. Like, I mean, wow, it's sad. And I feel some type of way because I'm like, why y'all ain't helping me break the story? He was your family before he was my family. Like, why aren't y'all helping? Y'all know I can't do this on my own. But yet, and I last year I stopped. That's why the perfect reason I got off of Facebook, because I realized that his family nor my family would ever step in and help break the story of him being wrongfully incarcerated. I figured out that it's going to come from some strangers, some people that don't even know me from nowhere. And guess who has supported me? People who don't know me from nowhere but YouTube, right? Anyways, his your girl Cadillac. Hashtag free Marcello.